Well, hey, Facebook and wherever else we may be appearing. We are thrilled to be here. We're grateful. I'm Tina. I should introduce myself first. I'm Tina. And beside me, we have the wonderful
Dr.
Dr. Mike.
Michael Gross. How are you, everyone? Thank you for joining us. It's a joy to have you join us.
This is wonderful. Perfect. We had a little interruption there. Hopefully, the signal is settled. Okay. Just for a minute. But anyway, we come live every Thursday night at 7. Michael has, we've decided to change it up. Now, what we do is we interview Michael. We ask him questions pertaining to his book and whatever other things might pop in. And we encourage everybody to go ahead and put your questions in the comments, and we will see about getting Michael to answer the questions. So I'm going to do a quick intro, and then I'm going to, Michael, do you want to say something before we introduce you?
Nope, go ahead. I look forward to it. And I know you're going to put something in the notes when we get started, so thank you.
Right. When Michael starts answering the first question, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments, his contact info, so everyone will be able to contact him, okay? So here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches, I already told you that, didn't I? No, Michael currently teaches classes, flipped my page and got my spot mixed up. He currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. Michael remains humble, knowing that the work he does all comes from God, the True Source. He currently lives in Lakewood, Washington, and I am honored to be doing this podcast with you every Thursday night. We encourage everyone to connect and invite your friends, okay? So go ahead, Michael. Anything you'd like to say, or shall I just pop in with a question?
Go ahead, just pop right in.
Okay, I've been looking at your book, The Spiritual Primer. Best doggone book that I've ever actually read, and I couldn't put it down. I mean, it was like I couldn't put it down when I picked it up and started reading it. But there's a quote in here on chapter 12 titled The Law of Compassionate Understanding and Forgiveness. And I know with the world going as crazy as it is right now, this is something that I think we all need to focus on. So this quote is from Albert Einstein. Bear with me, it's a little lengthy, but it's well worth it. A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a prison, restricting us to personal desires and to affection for a few persons close to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from our prison by widening our circle of compassion and embracing all humanity and the whole of nature in its beauty. And I'd like to ask you, Michael, can you expand on that law of compassion and understanding and how important it is to be forgiving?
Absolutely. Thank you. It's a great question. I appreciate it. And referring to what you just brought up, law of compassion and understanding, what Albert Einstein said, it's really a marriage of the two energies. And it's so hard for us to understand and realize. But our essence, our vibrations, our frequencies, if you will, our DNA, figuratively speaking, is all part of what I call the true source. As you are very much part of your parents, you have the DNA and ancestors, which can go back to the soul, the original souls, back to the true source. So I'd like you for a moment to think of a pine tree. And in a pine tree, let's say that's the true source. And then a pine cone falls off. And that pine cone is part of the true source, but we'll say for now that pine cone is the soul. And then it lands somewhere on the ground, and the wind comes up and the dust blows and so on. And eventually that pine cone is now in the earth and develops itself. And it's like a seed, and the seed has roots and lives off the energy of the earth and fertilizing and everything, and it grows into another beautiful pine tree. But yet the origins of that pine tree go back to the original pine tree. In other words, one with it. So that is like your soul. We're all part of the true source, every one of us. And then when our soul says we want to go out and experience life and see what it's like, then it leaves the true source and it begins to have an experience. But unlike the pine tree, there's a beautiful cord that connects us to the true source in two steps. One is called the oversoul, and one is called the soul. So as the soul leaves, figuratively speaking, the true source, part of it retains its vibrations, and it's called the oversoul. Another part of it breaks off and goes into the human body. Yet if we look at our cellular structure, and we would say our DNA, but the blueprint and the outline of it, the energy and vibrations is identical to the true source. And yet in a human form, it is very difficult for us to understand that. However, if you would like to see that, then do a meditation and ask to see it. Well, of course, many people will go, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So why can some see it and some can't? And that's because they have stick-to-itiveness. In other words, they keep trying at it. And not with the kind of energy, where is it? I'm waiting for it. 3 seconds went by, can't see a thing. 20 seconds. That's an impatience. And that impatience forms a wall or a block because you're not allowing yourself to be keywords in harmony and balance with the true source. Most importantly, when you meditate, ask to be in harmony and balance with the true source. Then close your eyes and ask for your third eye up here. You open, and then be patient. And you can use any mantra, but the one I find, which is very, very powerful, is inhaling dream and exhaling heaven. Many people say after a while they get dizzy, they get lightheaded. Oh, it must be my breathing. Any excuse except that your vibrations are changing. Well, what does that mean? It means I'm of this planet, but not in the negative emotion of this planet. It's like you're separating. So many of you at times, you've gone to sleep, you've had dreams. Some of them seem really realistic. Some of them are like cartoons or foolish or whatever. But in every dream, there is a message, whether it's a cartoon or it's in doubt or fear or whatever it is. Or sometimes you have a dream about something that, like deja vu. I must have dreamt it. And you get these feelings of intuition and things that are about to change. So it's more important. I asked my mother's a long time ago, and I said, part of your belief system, I mean, what if you dream about the dead? Are you going to die? And she said, no, Michael. The dream about the dead is they're trying to contact you and sending you love and healing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in your dreams. That's the way souls who have crossed over contact you. But of course, our analogical mind, as you know, that's analytical and logical mind, has to make up some excuse with the ego to make fun of it, say it's ridiculous, it's stupid, or it's dumb. But what we really need to understand is I am very much part of you as you are part of me. We all have similar vibrations and frequencies and energy. The only thing that changes us is our DNA. Our DNA has whatever our ancestors or parents look like. And we chose those bodies for a specific reason so that we can experience life. You, all of us, ask for the gift of life. And as you ask for the gift of life, what is it? I don't know. You had to come into a human body. And each one's experience in life is unique. And the one constant that keeps us going, that makes us healthy, that helps us to enjoy life is loving everything around us. And the first one you love is you, right? You. It's a different kind of love than of a spouse or mother, father, a child, brother, sister, relatives, or friendship. But the love of you is recognizing that you are every part of the true source, and the true source is every part of your life. Because the only energy that exists in the universe that is the highest frequency and vibration is the energy of the true source. And that's love. That's all it is. And I've spoken about this before, but understanding we came here to learn about self worth, self love, and self esteem. And as we do that, we question ourselves and we begin to analyze to death. And then we come up with some kind of conclusion. And more than likely, not all the time, it is an energy of doubt or anxiety or negativity. Everything that happens to us happens for a reason, and we created that reason. Do you ever stop and think, what am I to learn from this? Why is this so difficult? Why is this happening to me? I didn't bring this in my life. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm being punished. The only one punishing you is you, nobody else. The oxymoron is many religions try to say God is punishing you. How can a God, which I call the true source, which is unconditionally loving, which Jesus pointed out, Krishna, Buddha, and many others, want to punish you? Why would that happen? Everything in life is an experience. And what comes around goes around, law of karma, whatever you wish to call it. But everything is for a reason. And everything you do comes back to you. Whether it comes back this lifetime, another lifetime, it comes back to you. It's the experience that counts. And how long do you want to live in the experience? 1,000 years? Go ahead. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Up to you. That's so important for us to realize. So when we understand about compassion and love, it is up to us to look at each soul who is struggling and understand they created in this life. Learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. Understand that. Love them for choosing that. And love yourself for creating those things in your life that are so difficult. Sometimes I sit there and wonder, why did I do this one? What the dickens am I to learn? And again, you think about it, and as a very good friend of mine says, what did they spike our drinks with so we win incarnation? I know I mentioned that before, and it's a favorite expression of ours. And my other one is Scotty, beam me up. Well, of course, we can do that. We can birth out of our bodies, but then we get the round trip ticket to come back, do it all over again. But you're going to make it more difficult. So here we are learning about love, learning about compassionate, and understanding and honoring everybody's path. You don't have to agree with it, but honor it. Many souls go to me and say, I can forgive, but I can't forget. And I go, well, you really haven't forgiven. What do you mean? I forgave him, but I can't forget. Well, if you can't forget, you're holding a grudge. You're still angry. Hello? Little thought there. So most importantly, forgive yourself and forgive others and realize they're on their life path and they're in your life to learn a lesson. So thank you, everyone. Hope that answers the question. You have another one to you.
I do. I do. I have one that I didn't mention, but it came up when I was listening to you. Why is it so hard for us to love ourselves?
That's a very good question. And most importantly, when we are young and we go through the birth canal, as I've said before, we're surrounded by our guides, and angels, and we're talking to them. And then the veil of forgetfulness for the huge majority descends upon them, so they don't know why they're here, what lessons, what karma to experience. Well, what are we learning? And as I often said, for most people, the first word is no. Don't touch this. No, don't do that, or whatever. And it's met well. I agree. But we don't learn to see the beauty within ourselves. All we ever hear is when we do something wrong. And occasionally you get a cue to, oh, good grades, you look nice, or whatever. But 90% of the times, 89% of the times, whatever it is, we're being judged and criticized. And T and I were talking when you're in grade school, how the boys and girls tease each other and bullied each other, and always working on the negative. Indirectly, you are trained to think about the negative part of you, that you're imperfect, that you're this and that, this and that. And some religions teach you were born imperfect, you're imperfect, you're born in sin, etc., etc., etc. Wow. So why aren't we positive and have self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem? Look what you learn from your parents. Look what you learn from religiosity. Learn what you learn in your friends. And if you analyze your thoughts, you're always judging yourself. You're always looking for approval to some degree or another. And you're not really sensitive to your needs. What are your needs? Well, the first need is to love yourself. Second need is to see the beauty within you. I'm not talking about your facial features or your body. The beauty within you is that you are part of the DNA, so to speak, of the true source, which is love and happiness and joy. The true source doesn't judge itself. I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm getting old, I'm that. True source doesn't do that. It's not even the true source's concept and understanding. You have to learn yourself, because without love, there's no life, and without life, there is no love. So when we look at that in a human form, think about that. Without life, there is no love, and there's no love without life. Even in your soul, when you birth out, you go back to your essence. And what is your essence? Love. That's your essence. Love. That's what you are. Conceived out of love, by love, from love, and with love. But whole society turns that around and makes it a negative. That's why we have trouble loving ourselves and seeing how beautiful we are. We look at the exterior instead of the interior. One other thought. When you are in loving yourself, not in a haughty, conceited way, but feel joy and happiness, and you're loved by the true source, and you're glad to be here, and every experience is exciting, and it's great, and I'm growing and learning, and even if it's challenging, not hard, not bad, but challenging, I love myself for creating that, because I'm learning something new. Remember that. Remember that, because it's so important. There's an old expression, judge not lest ye be judged. It's true. Don't judge anybody else. Look at yourself and say, something new I'm learning, and I'm not going to let it happen again if I can help it. That's how we begin to get love. Good question.
Perfect answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And looking at the time, I'm going to ask you this one. Can you tell us about the Great Gathering?
Absolutely. I wrote that in my book because this is a time, I believe I wrote the first edition, I think around 2015 or 16. And I talked about the Great Gathering. This is a time when all the souls who incarnated earlier, or even at that time, is that we are ready for a major shift. This planet cannot be in the energy that we're having right now. We are the fifth root race. What does that mean? There were 4 other root races that were here, and root races could extend for thousands of years. And once they reach a certain vibration and energy, they ascend to another frequency and energy. So we are at a precipice on this planet right now. And we can go to the dark side, which is negativity, or go to the positive side, which is loving reconnection with the true source. The reconnection to the true source is not idle words. Oh, I love God. I'm one with the true source. They're empty. You have to feel it. And then when you feel that connection and that love, and it's an overwhelming feeling of love, that's when you know you've made the connection. And that's how you may know you made it in this lifetime. Because when you leave your body, you're back with the true source. So it's so important for all of you to understand that in this lifetime, in what you're doing, is to reconnect with the true source. So the gathering talks about all of us getting together and creating an energy and frequency of love and joy and happiness, non-judgmentalness, unconditional love and allowing. The reason that is because we're all on our own life path. We're all learning in a different way. It's a way we chose. Oh my God, did you write my script and I'm the producer and director? Uh huh. Why'd I do that? I don't know. You chose to learn it that way. I don't have a rhyme or reason. Whatever it is, that's the way you chose to learn it. Before we incarnate, we look at whatever karmic lessons we choose to learn. And our guides and angels will go, well, it's too tough, too hard. Nope, I can do it. I can handle it. It's a piece of case. Well, you're surrounded with love and it looks good when you're reading a script. But boy, when you're experiencing it, it's a lot different. No, I can do it. And then you incarnate and you go through these trials and tribulations. And you think, what the dickens was I thinking? Why did I create this one? Yep, it's that drink they gave me. That's what it is. It made me mellow and said I can do this. The truth is you chose it. But you don't have to make it hard. Only you are making it hard and difficult. Whether you created an illness to learn about self-worth, self-love, esteem, or you injured yourself, or maybe addictions or multiple relationships, whatever it is, you chose that. But everything can be overcome if you figure out a way. And the first way is, what am I to learn from this? That's so important. That's what will help change your life. I hope that answers your question as I have my drink straight up.
It's your double water, right?
Double water.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why, but our internet is doing some funny things here, Michael. But um, is there anything special as a message that you would like to share with people because the holidays are coming?
Absolutely. This, of course, is a holiday of joy, no matter what your religiosity is. It's a time of joy and happiness and sharing. And it's a shame that we wait for Christmas to share or Hanukkah or whatever holiday it is. We wait for that time because then we get in the mood. We want to share gifts. We want to share our love with others. And I've often thought, why don't we do this 24 hours a day, every day? Why do we have to do this once or twice a year? It's a great question, and only you can answer that. What is going on right now is in the world of great conflict. And it's great to be compassionate, and it's great to be loving, and we should and we need to be compassionate, loving. And we need to understand that every soul is on their own journey and honor that journey. We also need to understand that some souls you can talk to and they will think about it and change. Others will not change and will not have the love and compassion. And therefore, they will be aggressive and create chaos or whatever is going on. They are totally misguided and they are totally taken over by negative energies. Not the devil, because the devil doesn't exist, by negative energy and their belief systems. You know, what you believed at 12 changed when you were 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on and so forth. Finally, you reach an age and you're older in life and you have a lot of wisdom. What's going on is nobody is reacting. Let me phrase that. Everybody is reacting, but nobody is acting. We need to act and not react and understand why these souls, what's going on. And if they're taking the wrong direction, we need to ask the true source to intervene so they can see the chaos they're creating, not only for their lives, but for others. But there are belief systems, and the belief system is that you will go to heaven, or like the Northmen, Valhalla, Odin will be there, and all the stuff that they believed in. Well, we all go to the same place. I don't care what religion, what your beliefs, even if you're an atheist or agnostic, we all go to the same place. We all have the same life review. We all have different karma that we've got to experience. If we understood that, then we would say, I want to think about my actions. What is called the law of cause and effect? Karma, what comes around goes around, payback, whatever you want to call it. It all means the same thing. If we understood that, and if we were taught to look at that, then do I really want to do this? And if I do this, what is going to happen in my life? What am I creating in my life? You help a poor person, you help someone that's down and out, you protect them, something great and wonderful is going to happen. But if you take the opposite, then there's going to be a lot of lessons to learn. And that's what's so important for all of you to understand. If we understood, and we're growing up because after the age of 3, we're all equal. We just have different clothes on. In other words, different skin, different color, different sex, whatever it may be, but we're all the same. Because if I took off your skin, skeletons almost look the same, different sizes, but the same. And unless you can discern male from female, we would all look the same. But there is a slight difference. But nevertheless, the important thing is, I am you, you are me, we are one. And that's one of the quotes I want to share with you. I am you, you are me, and we are one. We're all the same. We just come in different colors and shapes. And if we understood that, then we would have love and compassion for one another and wouldn't have the chaos. But you see, by creating chaos, negativity makes the souls divided, and that's when they can do lots of negative things. As they say, united we stand, divided we fall. And right now, the world is becoming more and more divided. And that's why the gathering, because we're here to change that. We're here to change that. You are the solution. You are the solution. You are making a difference. And you need to be aware that you don't fall into the trap, because we could create the proverbial Garden of Eden. It was never a Garden of Eden, but in our mind where there's love and joy and peace. And yes, we can eat a lot of apples if we want. So I thought I'd share that with you. Thank you. I see our time is wandering down. Does there anybody have any questions?
Not right now, Michael, but why don't we go ahead with our announcements, because we are coming close to our half hour. And I know that there's something special coming up this Saturday. Why don't you talk about that, Michael?
Yes, all of you. Thank you. The second Saturday of every month, which on this broadcast we're doing, would be this coming Saturday. I call it the Mass Consciousness of Healing. What it is that we gather together and we channel and allow our bodies to become a vehicle for the true sources of unconditional love energy, to not only change us within us, but to spread it around the whole planet, all the inhabitants, all the souls, the animal, mineral, vegetable kingdom, Mother Earth, nature spirits, and so on, who touch all of us. And that's so important. And it begins at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time and goes to 11:01 Pacific time. And therefore, the first 5, 6, or 7 minutes when you join us, we chat, hi, how are you? And, we introduce ourselves, and I chat a little bit, you chat a little bit. And then approximately at 11:03 or 11:02, somewhere around there, then we go into silence. We become a conduit for the true source of unconditional love through our bodies surrounding planet Earth, and so on and so forth. And sometime around, 10:57, 10:58, I come back on, play a little music, thank you all, make sure you're all grounded, and we're done. And we repeat this the second Saturday every month. And I do that on freeconferencecall.com, which will allow you to come in your pajamas. You don't have to shave. You don't have to have your makeup on, because nobody can see you except your family around you. To access that information, why don't you share that?
Absolutely, Michael. The number is 202-926-9344. 1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound.
I'll give that number again. The number is 202-926-1059. And the access code?
125-446 pound. I have fun with that. Using the same codes, the same telephone numbers, every Tuesday evening, Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. I have what I call Soul Awakening. It's where you ask spiritual questions, and by asking those questions, hopefully I can answer them. And at the same time, I deliver a 10-minute message, and I think there are 310 or 11 10-minute messages. And it's so important for you to join us because your energy makes a difference. And we start at 6:30 and we'll be done by 7:30 or 7:35 the latest. Usually it's closer to 7:31 or 32. And then I encourage all of you to join us to feel that loving energy and to access that wonderful experience. Why don't you give them the information?
Okay. To access the Tuesday night call, it's 202-926-1059. And the code, Michael?
125-446 pound. So it's the same access code. And so it's 125-446 pound or hashtag, whatever you want to call it. Then there's one more I would like to share with you. And I call it the recall, the replay. And that is all these messages from number 3, it starts to 309 or 10. It's a 10-minute message. And if you want to listen to it on YouTube, you can go to YouTube. You go to Dr. Michael B. Gross. And what's really beautiful about this is if you want to watch it on your screen, computer, or on your phone, there's a beautiful picture. And there's a quote, and the picture is taken by award-winning photographer. I think her name is Tiu Knapp or something like that. And it looks really beautiful, and there's the 10-minute message. Sometimes I can't see you driving and looking at your phone because you're going to use what I call the hit and miss method. So what I would do is call it on your phone, listen to it on your radio in your car, listen to the message, and you can drive your car and get a message. So many people go, well, what number should I choose? And intentionally, there are no numbers for you to choose from. Whatever your soul says, in other words, maybe 172. I don't know what that is, but I'll listen to 172. And then I'll get a contact or a call. Boy, Michael, 172 is just what I needed to hear and learn from. And that's so important. So it's number 3 through 309 or 10. And to access that information,
I'll give the number, but first I'm going to say I drive every day back and forth, and I love the fact that I can dial in to the recorded messages, and it's true. Every time I dial in, I don't know the number, but the message is perfect for me at that moment. So I highly recommend that you all write this down if you don't have, and if you don't have a pen, it's in the comments. But the recordings can be found when you dial 434-300-4170 and the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound or hashtag. Would you
I'll
do
give
that
that
one more
number.
time, please?
Absolutely. 434-300-4170 and the code, Michael?
125-446 pound. And there's one more I'd like to share with you, and that is this beautiful book written by a beautiful soul. I've heard of her before. I think it's Tiu Knapp. It's called About Healing the Holes in Your Soul. It's so important. And when you think about healing the holes in your soul is beautiful and loving, and sometimes life experiences create chaos. So the figure of speech, the illusion is you have holes in your soul. And this beautiful woman alongside me wrote this book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul, and it's all about finding yourself and being like the mythological bird, the phoenix, rising from the ashes. This is a must read. I encourage all of you. It's inspirational and it's very, very eye opening.
Thank you, Michael. But I highly recommend that everybody start here. This is the Spiritual Primer. It's the second edition that Michael has brought forth to us. And I have the first and second edition. And because of these books and the wonderful gentleman right there, wherever he is, it wouldn't, my book that he's holding would not even have happened had it not been for his book and the time that I've spent working with him. He's truly a gift, a blessing to the entire world. And I really, really encourage everyone to contact Michael because he also offers a complimentary something or something. So tell them about that, Michael.
Yes, I offer a complimentary 20-minute consultation, probably run a little longer, and that's fine, whatever it takes, but certainly not hours. And what's more important is it's all about you finding yourself and opening a door for you. Now, my book was available on Amazon, and they're all out of them, and I haven't had the chance to mail out a new couple of hundred books to Amazon. What's really interesting, someone read the book and wanted to put it up for resale. And the last I looked, it was for resale for $295. Well, boy, you can get it from me for a lot cheaper, a lot cheaper. But so with the information, if you're interested in the book, and the book is priced at $29.95, I believe. And for those who order from me, I'll give you a special little thought and notes about your path, and that includes shipping and handling. It will not be overnight like Amazon does it, but it'll be within a week or maybe a little earlier or whatever. Of course, this time of the year, that's a great gift. So think about that for ordering the Spiritual Primer for your friends, or yourself, or your family, and or healing the holes in your soul by Tia Nat.
These are beautiful Christmas gifts, like Michael said. And I just want to thank you for making sure that we keep these in our hands, okay? Because it's truly the reason why everything in my life has changed for such a beautiful world. I mean, my life is so much better because of you, Michael. I'm so blessed to be in your life.
Thank you. And one other thing we haven't talked about, and that I have a 501c3, it's a nonprofit, the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. Making a very long story short, when the True Source said to set up a nonprofit, which I did, would have 12 arms. And when working with TU, I realized the first arm was helping abused women, children, and men. It's greater, it was eye opening. I couldn't believe how big it is. And we are certainly open to donations. And it's really important that we help them. And because of that, because I learned so much through TU, I asked her to be director of that portion of the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And she's, we are in the process of getting it rolling. We are looking at so many different things. Our website was up, then it had to be changed. It's under construction. It's like, oh my gosh, the way things are. However, you can look up the state of Washington or call the federal government, the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, or a 501c3, and that will tell you that, yes, we are legal. It's not a scam. So think about that with the Christmas season, that you can be helping many women, children, and men. And also think about with the new year coming up, if you're looking for a tax deduction. Because we know even though it's slow, it's going to be phenomenal once we get the ball rolling. And I will tell you a little while why it's slow. Because you have the typical woman who is abused, all right? And she usually has 2 children or more. She has no money, doesn't know where to go for help, and usually feels like a victim and goes back to the same abuse because there's no help. What we intend to do is get them away from the situation, getting a safe harbor like a hotel or motel, finding a place to live. They usually have no money, and doing some counseling, paying the rent for them, and then afterwards and the counseling with the children, because history repeats itself. So working with the children and the abused spouse, then afterwards helping them get a job or vocation and protecting them. It's a huge undertaking. So it's not simply, oh, $20, $50 will do this or that. It's huge, but it makes a difference. Anyway, so think about that. And Tia, is there anything you'd like to add?
And just one more thing. We're incredibly grateful for the donations that have come forth. And there's there's an account set up for that. So anything, just keep it in mind, keep us in mind, think about the other people that we can help with the services that we provide, because we're here to help one another find their own self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem, right, Michael?
Absolutely. And at this time, neither Tia and I draw any money. We're doing it out of love and compassion.
That's
So
our mission and
everyone,
goal.
we want to wish you well. Have a great week and remind everybody to join us next Thursday.
Perfect.
Everyone, remember, we love you and you are unlimited. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Michael. Sorry we went a little longer, but we were so blessed to have you join us. Good night.
Night.